Alright, so today, what's going on today that I want to talk about? Finally getting to maybe make some progress on the solar battery bank. I was going to use this stuff, which is covered in cat hair, but that's sort of a side effect of there being cats in this place. I'm going to use this stuff to secure these to the back of the solar panel. But the problem is, this stuff is absolutely crap, and it's not going to do the trick. So that didn't work out. So I finally managed to get a hold of something different, which is this stuff. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Gorilla, just Gorilla in general, they make some pretty intense adhesives. That's sort of their stock and trade, and holy crap, this stuff is just, like, there's a thing here. Oh, I bet that's important. I was about to start trying to pull this off, but I bet that's to keep it from, like, adhering to whatever you set it down on. And that would explain why this was pushed up slightly. Wow, they are smart. Anyway, this is Gorilla's double-sided tape, and apparently it is one of the most tenacious double-sided tapes that money can buy. So I'll be using this stuff, which I'm already kind of afraid of just from touching it. That'll be what I'm using to secure these, and then I can finally build that stupid 12-volt power bank. But before I do that, I actually need to charge one of these up to do the nichrome wire for this, which I'll be buying the nichrome wire tomorrow. So I should set up something to charge these. I'll start working on that while I keep talking. What else do I have to say about today? I learned something interesting on the more political side of things. In this case, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this whole wall. Now, Trump wants to build a wall, and he's not going to get to build his wall. Nobody's going to let him build the wall, but he wants to build the wall. And so he shut down the government, which only today he finally capitulated to the Democrats. He didn't get his money, he didn't get his wall, and now the government has provisionally been reopened. So that's a thing. But the thing is, and I can say this with absolute certainty, this was never about a wall. Never would have been about it. The wall didn't figure into any of this. When Obama was in office, his Senate, the Senate at the time, worked together on a bipartisan bill regarding border security. Now, bipartisan bills are cool because it means that both sides, the Democrats and the Republicans, and the various smattering of independents, got together and said, okay, we're gonna put this bill together, and we're gonna work on it together. We're gonna collaborate, and we're gonna make sure that it's suitable for everybody. So they worked together on this bill. Now, this bill would have reallocated $54 billion, that's with a B, $billion, in various different tax sources, including increasing the tax brackets of some of the I think they were planning on increasing the tax bracket for the richest 10% of Americans. So, people with more than enough money to spare, who of course objected to the bill. But everybody, well, not everybody in the Senate, the bill, the bill for the well, crap, I've gone and forgotten which of those was positive and which was negative, so I'll go grab this other one so I can double check. Okay, so that's the positive. All right. This bill passed in the Senate, and it should have passed, and it should have not had any trouble, and the bill should have passed, and and that $54 billion should have been delegated to border security. Now, what were they going to do with this $54 billion, which, by the way, is, nearly 11 times what Trump wants for his antiquated little medieval project? Well, this $54 billion, it is really hard to talk about not electronics while trying to work on something electronics. Bear with me a moment here. There we go. Come on, get on there. There we go. Okay, so this $54 billion would have purchased sufficient remote monitoring technology because, say what you will about all the crap that went down in the Middle East, there was a lot that was learned from that whole situation, primarily in the fields of drones and drone surveillance. So they were going to take what we learned using drones for surveillance in the Middle East and apply it to the border. And they were going to buy drones and cameras and seismic detectors and all sorts of things to install along the border. There wouldn't have been a real wall. There would have been sections that had walled areas, but they wouldn't have put a wall along the entire border. Instead, they were going to basically build an electronic barricade. And there was going to be sufficient monitoring so that they would be able to view every single inch of the border 24 hours a day in real time from anywhere that was enabled to access the monitoring technologies. So that's one of the things that $54 billion was going to go towards. The other thing was going to be the hiring of a ton more border security and TSA agents. Sufficiently so that just the border security agents that would have been hired by this bill would have been able to hold hands across the entire border and have extras left over. So this was never about a wall. This is all about a racist man trying to build a monument to his racism. Because if he succeeds, well, I guess he didn't really succeed, but he might keep trying. If he succeeds in building that wall, it will forever be a monument to Nazi America. I don't use the word Nazi very lightly, but if there ever was a modern Nazi, it's the Republican Party at the moment. At least most of them. I know there are good Republicans out there. They're just being part of the problem by not preventing their buddies from screwing everything up. So that was an interesting thing that I learned this week. Where was I going with that, though? I feel like I had a point I was trying to work towards, and I feel I have since lost that point. Oh well, so that's an interesting thing that I learned today. I wasn't overly productive today. Still very low energy, but I'm definitely feeling better than I did the last couple of days. Still haven't called my doctor. I'm going to keep talking about the fact that I haven't called my doctor here because it's kind of something that will keep me accountable so that, I'll be like, well, at some point these people are going to start getting on my case about not watching, or about not calling my doctor, so, they're going to start giving me trouble for it, which, go ahead and give me trouble if I don't get this stupid thing done. And I spent some time on eBay, spent the rest of my Christmas money ordering some components and kits for projects, and wistfully eyeballing some stuff that I can't afford that I really, really want to get for the channel. One of those things is something called a FLIR 1, and I think they're about $350 US. And it's a thermal camera, a reasonably high-resolution thermal camera that I can actually physically clip into the bottom of my phone. With USB-C, just clip, and it's a thing that, it's about that big. And it's a thermal imaging camera. And with that, I would be able to demonstrate how certain components and circuits heat up in certain ways as they operate, because I'd be able to... I probably wouldn't actually show well, I might, but I'd edit in a higher quality image of that stuff on the final videos. So I was drooling over those, and there's this other thing that I really, really want. And Big Clive uses these. They're about $60. And it's called a Cliff Quick Test. And it's something for an electronics person that they can use to be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? They can, it plugs into the mains, and it's got this little lid that you lift up, and on the inside there are three, or there's even a three-phase version, so there's four little clips that you push down and you can stick a wire into, and they're colored with North American or UK wiring colors for mains voltage stuff. But the cool thing about it is while it's open, the circuit is interrupted. It's got a couple of blade contacts in the lid. So when you open it, it physically disconnects the circuit with absolutely no possible way of any of the current from the mains to make it into the little tabs. So while it's open, it's 100% safe, it's fused and everything. It's a very, very brilliantly designed thing. But you can put your wires in and set up your circuit, and then you close the lid and it completes the circuit, and when it's closed it's got a little neon indicator to indicate that it's active, and then your main circuitry goes live without you ever having to touch anything that's actually connected to the mains. Very, very cool thing. There's a guy that imports them from the UK to North America and sells them on eBay so that, you know, Americans can get them, because shipping from the UK is ghastly. So that was another thing I was drooling over. And, you know, I need a new soldering station, a bunch of other stuff just to, you know, get myself back on track with my channel here. YouTube.com/gadgetboy if you want to check out the tech channel where I do things like this on kind of a regular basis, because it's pretty much the only thing I have motivation for anymore. And there's been very little motivation for that lately, but hopefully I'll get better. Like, I'm feeling there's a lot more energy today. I just had a couple of really dark days there for a bit, and that's the way this thing's been working for me. It's up and down and up and down and up and down. It's messy. Hopefully my doctor will be able to figure something out.